Friday is here, which means it's time for the Morning Mix, this time a D.C. edition. We're weighing in on the stories everyone's talking about, from the controversy over Arizona's crackdown on illegal immigration to the big push to end texting while driving, and finally, Sandra Bullock's surprise adoption. And we got a great group to mix it up this morning. Gayle King, O Magazine editor-at-large, Lou Dobbs, syndicated talk show host now for United Stations. I'm glad you guys are together. You guys
I'm glad to. May I just say, I don't intend to come to blows. I don't know how you're feeling today, Mr. Dobbs.
Well, I feel grateful that you don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
There will be no violence here on Morning Mix, I promise.
One more vow here,
Yes,
here in the
yes,
museum
yes,
this morning.
yes.
But let's start with something you've been crusading on a long time, Lou, this whole issue of controlling our borders, illegal immigration. You have this new Arizona law. Everyone's got to have documentation. The police have new powers to enforce it, and there's been an uproar.
Absolutely.
All around the country, protesting calls for boycotts of Arizona. The president's called it misguided. The Justice Department might step in. What are you making of all this?
Well, I think, first of all, from the president on, the reaction has been hyperbolic. It has been based fundamentally on an ignorance of what is in that law.
What's the biggest misconception?
The biggest misconception is that it requires racial profiling. It prescribes racial profiling. And importantly, the legislators and the governor in Arizona are making absolutely certain that there will not be racial profiling. They are changing the law to adapt to these criticisms so that, as the sponsor of the legislation said, no one will be playing games.
But Lou,
They're
when
very
you play it
serious about
out, though, it really smells and feels like racial profiling to me. Even the governor of Arizona, when she was asked, what does an illegal immigrant look like? What is reasonable suspicion? She really couldn't even answer those questions. I hear law enforcement officials saying, I'm not going to even enforce this law because I think that it's taking us on a slippery slope. You know, when you say people are overreacting, or the way you described it, I think people are afraid. Lou, this law scares me. That's how I feel. I feel frightened by it.
Well, I hope people won't be frightened by something that they haven't read. I hope they won't be frightened by the fact that we're trying to enforce our laws in this country, and we will not, I hope, be frightened by a community of 7 million people, which is the population of Arizona, trying to come to terms with crime that is rampaging at the same level as the crime in a city, the largest city in the country, which is New York City. This is a community of people, Hispanic, African American, Asian, and white, trying to come to terms.
How are you going to avoid this profiling issue? The police have this power if they have reason to believe someone's illegal, and that could mean
one of the changes is to remove one word, which was the prescription against solely on the basis of race, etc. They have removed the word solely, and it says clearly and unequivocally as any language in law can that there will be no racial profiling. There will be no judgment made whatsoever.
Lou, I'll bet you're not stopped. I'll bet if you're walking in Arizona, I'll bet they're not going to stop you.
Okay,
I'll bet they're not going to stop you. What does reasonable suspicion mean? And what does an illegal immigrant look like? And when you answer first, Mr. Dobbs, what does an illegal immigrant look like to you?
What does an illegal immigrant look like to me? It looks to me like a person without a proof of citizenship, without the necessary immigration papers. And by the way, again, Gayle, one of the reactions from all of the, and because this is such a sensitive issue, I understand the sensitivity of it, but I think it's time for people to do a lot better, particularly our national political leaders. The point is that every resident alien in the country, every person with a green card, and we bring in 3 million people legally every year, they have to carry their...
That is true. You know, we got to move on to another topic. You guys are great on this, but also you're here in the museum today because of this no-phone zone
I came to
pledge.
see you, George.
Of course
you did. I heard
George
Stephanopoulos was going to be in a museum. I go, I got to go there. And oh, by the way, Oprah's doing no-phone zone.
And Lou, I think you think this is a good cause, but you were having some fun before we went on the air with this whole idea.
Of texting and...
yeah, in the no-phone zone.
Well, my wife is one of those people, I said that she's going to have, and she's watching us as I speak, therefore I'm going to have...
Hi, Mrs. Dobbs.
Hey, babe, just get it. But she is one of those people who has to fight that cell phone all the time. She is the world's fastest texter. She can, I swear, it seems text and talk on the phone simultaneously.
But does she do it while driving? That's the thing.
If you think I'm going to answer that question honestly with my wife sitting in the green room, come on.
Lou, I'm going to take that as a yes, she does. I'm going to take it as a yes, she does.
We all do it, and we all have to stop.
There you go. Thank you, George.
We all have to stop. And that's what this whole day is about. It really is a national call to arms because the statistics are very frightening about about the damages that it causes.
Finally, this picture that I think
My
surprised all of
favorite
us
story.
this week, Sandra Bullock and her new
Yes.
baby Louie.
Oh, my gosh.
Interesting on so many levels. She's had such a hard time, but one, somebody could keep a secret, Lou.
Absolutely, and what a secret it was. And
Not just somebody who was under the media spotlight at the hottest time in her life and the hottest time in her career.
you are talking about Sandra keeping the secret, not Jesse. Is that correct?
Right, exactly right. She
Very
could do
good.
it. That is good.
Very good. But
Well, why
George,
do you both
listen,
seem so surprised? Wait a minute, let's talk.
because I never thought of you as such a comedian.
Well, I'm
are you this
sorry.
funny at home?
Well, sometimes at the worst time.
When he's not accusing
but
his
what
wife of
gets me
texting
though,
while driving.
really, George, seriously about this story, I'm a subscriber to People magazine, and it hadn't come before I left New York to come here. I bought it at the airport. The interview that she gave is so candid and so raw and so heartbreaking and so sweet, that the love that she feels for her son, and even the kindness she still extends to Jesse James, who's apparently a cheater, pumpkin eater, that she still has kind words for him. It's very touching
kind of incredible.
to me.
You got 10 seconds, Lou.
I just got to say, Sandra Bullock, well, she's gone
love
through
her.
to be doing this.
Yeah.
You know, what a lady.
It
Love
is
her.
fantastic. Thank you both. That was really
How'd
fun.
we do, George?
You guys did great.